Hello,
Hello, nice
I'm
to
George.
meet you. I'm Jacqueline.
This is like our first date.
Yes, it is our first date.
It is.
Yes.
So, should we start with one of these questions?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so do you want me to...
I will ask you.
Okay.
So I want to ask you, which films matter to you right now?
I like the idea of films that don't exist. That's why I was very confused by the question. Because I like films that don't exist. Yet. So I think it's what makes me want to make films, is to make them
Exist.
concrete.
Yes, great.
And I don't know if I work a lot with subjects or things that make the films talk about something. I think I'm starting to be interested in films that they don't talk about anything. So to be possible to talk about something. So I would say that I like the idea of not having subjects, for the film to be a subject itself.
And in order also to have the space to explore the language more.
Exactly.
Because most of the films, I think, that are very stuck in the subject, they forget about the filmmaking practice and they're focused on the information sharing. Although it's somehow unimportant. Because if you want information, you can open a newspaper. But if you want to watch a film, you should be open to receive a totally new, unfound world.
And that's why most part of the filmmakers, and I don't have anything against, the script, it's the most important thing for them, and I would say the editing is the most important thing for me.
I totally agree.
You have the same thing? Great.
I totally agree. I find the film in the editing room all of the time, and I think that the filmmakers that go on set with a very fixed script, they lose what's happening on set that moment because they have a preconceived idea of how they want to shoot, what they want to shoot, what they want to tell, and they lose the magical that happens in between.
I agree.
Yes.
Totally agree.
Good.
What changes in a director since their first film experience?
I perceive this question to be the first feature film experience. I think what changes is that, what changed in me is that I lost my childishness, and it's a pity. Because like before the feature film, I was ready to do anything. I didn't care about crazy and other labels. I would just go and do it because I had it in my head and I wanted to see it, exactly as you said, to make it concrete. But after the feature film and all this co-production complexities and other people talking about my film, although I have no idea what to make, I had to lose part of my child self to survive.
But what do you think it changes from a short film to a feature film?
That more people.
But why would you have more people in a feature film?
Because they told me that if I had more people, it would be an easier way to make. And I fell for that because I was inexperienced. And I tried to keep most of my crew the same, and I was happy to do that. But I had all these new people coming and want to get part of the film, and I'm like, shit. So for my next film, I go back to my short film model.
Okay. No, that's something that I've been thinking a lot because I got some funds to do a feature film, but then and I was talking a lot with my DOP because I hope she doesn't mind I'm talking about this. We were talking about how we could do the film because suddenly I'm having the same
co-production, other countries, point
more
systems,
money,
more money.
Teams of other countries, and I was telling her exactly the same thing. We were trying to choose the camera, and I just wanted the smallest camera in the market, so I could
flexible and
exactly. But before that, and because of COVID, I started to working on a project that will be a feature film, but it's going to be a feature film that I did like I used to do my short films.
That's great.
And it's almost editing, and I think I'm happy with that. But because of what you were saying, because nothing changed.
That's great.
And so and that's why I'm always saying that the production is actually a super important part of the films.
Super important. Maybe it's the most important.
Yeah. Well, I think cinema, it's all about collective imaginary. And when I'm thinking to do an image, I always need to remember the quantity of images that everybody did already. So I always feel this responsibility of one image, the meaning of doing one image. And the collective imaginary can be also connected with dreams.
This was my thought.
And
Totally. I think when they write the collective imaginary, they think collective unconscious, which is dreams.
And so this relation for me, it's super important. That it's not only the dreams when we sleep. Of course, those images that they come from the dreams are super important, but also the dreams that everybody have. So when you can when you do a fiction of an image, it's always like a dream. Totally. It's always something that you want to create, to put it in a real situation, or create something that could be real.
Yes. And then the question is, what is real and what is not real? Exactly. This is the most important question, because I think although in a conformist society we are asked to have a very defined line between real and unreal, I think the reality is that it's one. Real and unreal merges with each other, and there is no clear boundary. Because something that may be real to you, it's real to you, may be unreal to me, and something real to me, it's unreal to you, but they're both real and unreal at the same time.
Exactly, and why is not a dream a real situation?
Exactly.
So we can put everything in the same.
For sure. Yes.
Good. This first date is going well.
Very well. Like, I know many filmmakers consciously think that now I want to make a new film. Next step is I'm gonna find what the new film is about. I don't have this way of thinking. I usually have just an image in my head, and with the image I try to see what comes next, what comes after, and gradually the whole tapestry is being created. I never had any research for any film.
Okay.
Ever.
But where do you think this first image that you have, where does it come from?
From the collective unconscious, from the other question. They're all interlinked. There is this saying, I don't remember who said that every book, as well as every film, as well as every painting, exists as many times as people read it or watch it or see it.
Exactly.
So in a way, films are always alive because as long as the audience changes, it's always a different film for them.
Yes.
So it's already changing.
At the same time, every film is alive, but every film is dead.
Yes. Yeah, because death is in life and life is in death.
It's like reality and the unconscious.
Yes,
everything
one
is together.
One is inside the other. It's like the babushka, the Russian babushka, open, and
a box inside a box, inside a box, inside a box. And from the films that you do, how much do they are personal? Oh, I'm sorry, this question was terrible.
No, I understand. I understand. This is a very weird question, and I have been having it very often. I think that even a film that is seemingly impersonal, at the same time is very personal because someone made it, so it's like a personal creation. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I understand that this goes to the fact that some films are more self-referential, and yes, you can understand that the director wants to say something about their lives. I don't know. This is the way I work. I'm deeply rooted in intuition and associations and free streaming stuff. And this is how they happen.
I have a question that is not here, but that I would like to ask you, and that is related with what you were saying. How much prepared are you when you're going to shoot?
I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared. I have been prepared just once for my first film because I felt that I had to prove.
First film
Yes.
is what you call first feature?
No,
Ah.
first short,
Okay.
Fox. I felt that I was coming back from London to Greece and I had to prove that I can make a film with beginning, middle and end. I knew how to do it. So I did that and I was very prepared, like short list, blah, blah, blah. But it's the film I enjoyed the least because while on set, I felt I was executing, not creating. So I stopped being organized and I have what I have in my head, I have my team and I go very free and I shoot depending on the setting and the moment and the people.
And the light and how you're feeling.
Exactly. And then you take all this material and in the editing room, somehow you can almost see whole river of associations and it's great.
But you don't edit yourself, right?
No,
Alone?
No. Do you?
Yes.
Oh.
I always edit my
Hard.
films.
That's admirable.
No, for me it's the opposite. I tried once to edit with someone and I just wanted the mouse. You know, he was editing and I was watching the images and suddenly I understood what I wanted. And so I just wanted to, can I? and
they get pissed off.
Yes, and that's the moment I think I have this thing that I think I only shoot because I can edit them after.
Okay.
So maybe if I would only have amazing material that I would love to edit, I wouldn't need to be a filmmaker, a director. I would be just an editor.
Okay.
But it's hard to edit something to other people.
I think it must be very hard, especially if you don't like what you get.
Exactly, that's what I'm...
Yeah, it must be like horrific.
So yeah, for me it's in the editing that I feel more... Yeah.
That you're writing.
Because it's where I discover the search for new narratives. I do it in the editing. It was a good first date.
What is your star sign?
What?
Pisces.
What?
Pisces. Fish.
No, I'm a lion.
Ah.
With the moon in Scorpion.
Oh, Palagio. That's good. It's fire.
Yeah. It's something.
A lot of
what about
emotions. You? Gemini, Ascendant Aquarius, Moon in Cancer. You have good moods.
Okay, good.
Yeah, good. We have solved this problem.
I remember when we start in 2012 or 13, when we start working together, there wasn't any platform, or if there was, it wasn't that much famous to distribution of our short films. And I remember for 1 year we copied lots of, how many DVD we copied?
300.
Yeah, 300 copies of DVD.
For all the festivals.
And we stamped the paper and writing. And for the first short film, it was really difficult. But now, after, I don't know, 10 years, it's really easy. You put your movie on the website and you are done. You can go for every festival, you can submit, but we did a lot of job.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think it reduced a lot the spirit of cinema, because now a lot of platforms and the streamings are available, and then when you make a film, you have to accept that there are a lot of people that are watching the film on the mobile, and so that's not something that you expected before. You just most of the time when you make film, you were really happy to see the film in a big cinema, the people are gathering around and they are talking about the films after the film finish. But these kind of platforms that already exist and they have a big power, I think they are getting they're reducing also this joy of watching the film all together, and which also reduce the joy of filmmaking a little, because when you make film now, you have to accept fast that a lot of distributors and a lot of sales, they also accepted that they just sell the film to these platforms and streaming, and in a way it has a lot of good things, but it has some more bad things for it has good things for distribution, but bad for the filmmakers.
Filmmakers, yeah.
So,
I agree.
Yeah, as a filmmaker, I'm not that much happy, but but we have to accept.
But you are happy with platform like Freeway, no? Or you prefer to be all the style?
No, Freeway or other platforms. Some of them are good, but there is no criteria for anything.
No,
you know?
yeah, but they are the festival and programmer. They have to work more, because when we start, there were maybe less short film going to submitted to festival, but now I think it's too much. Why is it interesting to tell personal and intimate stories?
What do you think?
Okay, first you answer and then I will answer.
Generally, art house cinema is very dependent on authors, and while we are talking about authors, it's more about personal films. But this personal film must be more universal. You cannot tell a story that is just personal and personal. It shouldn't be in a way private. It should be personal in a way of how you approach it. It can be, I think, come from personal experiences or personal thinking about life, about cinema, and about everything. So while we're talking especially about art house film, that's the most important thing we are talking about. But of course, for many of the films, like commercial or Hollywood, it doesn't mean that. Of course, it can be personal also when you're making a commercial film, but it becomes quite difficult to make a commercial film, which is personal.
I think it's a good idea to find the story from yourself, because it's near to yourself, and you how can I say experimented, and it's easier to tell that story to the people. In our life, we have lots of personal story, but some of them, they are really important and they stay with us for life.
It's important, of course, to know that which personal stories are important. You know?
Exactly.
All the stories, our personal experiences or our personal thinking may not be important for the other people to hear about it. You know, many of the stories that happens for us are not. We should find that the most difficult thing is to find what is personal and why this personal story have to be told to the audience. This part is much more important for the filmmaker normally too.
Yes.
It's a little connected also to the previous questions. The question about the personal films, and for me, and now it's very important to tell the stories that are very connected to myself as a human being first, and to transfer the feeling that is in my mind important to be transferred to the audience. And now I'm trying to find a equivalence for the stories that are personal and at the same time universal, that you can find some way to communicate it with the people and bringing a lot of questions. First, as a filmmaker, you normally find you have a lot of questions that
You want to answer.
yeah, you want maybe not answer, you just want to raise them. You know?
Okay.
And in the films also you always want to raise these questions. So for the films that important at the moment, I think the films are that can be a challenge for me as a filmmaker and as a human being to transfer the right feeling to the audience.
I agree with you. No, I agree with you because for me it's more. I would like to make films about the society and the problem, and especially for women, and maybe the difficult part of between new generation and old generation, and the tradition. I would like to work on this kind of movie, and I will try.
Yeah, in a way, these films are also
Exactly.
personal films.
Exactly. Yeah.